The final thing we're going to do is look at a more complicated, more complex model. Um, and, well, maybe more complicated. We'll talk about that. And so we're going to go and you'll see here I have downloads, but we're going to open a model. And in downloads, start.mdl. And we're going to do the community corona7.model. We're going to open that thing up. And this is the model built by Tom Vittemans of Ventana Systems. And you can see it's got our base model here that we produce, plus imports, people coming from the outside, which is going to continue to happen. What happens in terms of our hospital capacity, treated and untreated fatality rates. We assume those are different. We can walk through this, but I'll allow you to do that as an exercise, walk through and look at these various things here. Behavioral risk reduction, so they have the uncontrolled. Notice this is the controlled transmission rate, but otherwise it's fairly similar. Effective seasonality, etc. So you can play with all these. Public health capacity, hospital strain. So we're going to go ahead and run that, and because I've already run it, so we see the hospital strain is just an index they've created. Public health strain, you see that those are sort of getting there, and then they allow us to say, what if we get a decline in the transmission? What if it gets worse? All right, so I'm going to stop. So I reset these. I'm going to simulate again. And so there's an awful lot of parameters to play with here. And so down here it has policy levers. Well, I don't know that you can affect seasonality. But you see our hospitals are getting fairly strained with the system. And this is, what if the treated fatality rate really isn't any better than the untreated? Seems to be the case in Italy. Doesn't seem to affect our hospital strain. Maybe that's a problem with the model. What if the infection duration is longer? Ooh, that does really affect our hospital rates, because they're stuck with that. What if the incubation time is longer? Actually, a longer incubation time doesn't hurt our hospital rates in the way that you might expect. That's just because people are not in the hospital, right? So and if our infection duration is shorter, let's say mefloquine works. Actually, mefloquine does work. Pretty good studies on that. The problem with mefloquine is that it might cause you to go crazy, having been on it, paranoid psychosis, and feeling like you're going to die anyway. And the side effects are pretty horrible. So there's a reason they don't want to hand that out like candy. All right, that would anything we could do to do that, if really taking the R0 back, these models, to get people to not run into each other. They really do reduce our hospital strain. They lengthen it out a little bit. They do help the public health strain. Did they really help the deaths come down much? Let's push it back up there. Yeah, they do bring the deaths down a little, right? But you see, even maxing out at sort of 4 and bringing it back to, if we get it back to all the way down to 1, right, maybe 500 more people survive because they get better treatment, but that's only because that's better if the treated mortality rates are much better. but it's not like we save everybody. So one of my questions about this whole thing is, we stretch this out, we do this, we do all of these things. What's not in this model is the people who didn't get to physical therapy and died, the people who sat at home, the stress, caused more heart attacks, and we won't know that for months. My suspicion is that we won't save that many lives with this ramping back. And we may, what's not in here, hospital strain, there isn't a box in here for dying doctors and nurses, which, or if the healthcare system just decides, the people decide the risks to them aren't worth it after 2 of your doctor buddies die, you might stop going. And